They thought I was gone for good. When I left for my third overseas deployment, I kissed my wife goodbye on the front porch of our 40-acre ranch outside of Red Rock, Texas. It was the kind of place we built up from nothing, barn by barn, gate by gate. My wife, Ellie, stayed behind to run things while I served. But 4 months into my deployment, the messages started getting strange. Some guy from the HOA said we're not in compliance with new bylaws, Ellie texted. 2 weeks later, they put up for sale signs at the end of our driveway. Then it got worse. One morning, Ellie woke up to a moving crew hauling boxes off the porch. A local real estate company claimed the HOA had acquired the land due to abandonment and unpaid community fees. Never mind that our ranch wasn't part of their subdivision, nor that I'd prepaid all taxes and utilities before I deployed. By the time Ellie got our lawyer involved, the HOA had filed a fraudulent lien with the county, fast-tracked a bogus foreclosure process, and sold our ranch to a developer under the table. All while I was in a combat zone. The military's legal team stepped in fast, but jurisdiction was a tangled mess. I requested emergency leave, got on a flight, and landed in Texas with nothing but a duffel bag and 6 months of fury. Here's what they didn't expect. I wasn't just a rancher and soldier. I had friends in federal law enforcement. And our lawyer? She was also a retired judge's daughter. Within 2 weeks, we had the whole thing unraveled. Turns out, the HOA's president, none other than Rick Slater, a smug ex-realtor, had falsified documents, claiming the ranch was part of their master plan since 2001. Problem was, my title deed dated back to 1998. My property had never been subject to the HOA. With the judge's help, we secured a court-issued property seizure reversal and a warrant for immediate repossession and investigation into fraudulent transfer. That's when I gathered some backup, friends from the sheriff's office and 2 off-duty MPs who rode out with me. We rolled up in 3 trucks, court papers in hand. Rick was on my porch, drinking coffee like he owned the place. The new owners, a young couple looking rattled, were halfway through moving in. I stepped out of my truck and handed the judge's order to the sheriff, who walked it right up to Rick. "You're trespassing," the sheriff said flatly. Rick tried to argue, but the paper spoke louder. "You signed a lien on property you had no jurisdiction over. You filed false records with the county. That's felony real estate fraud." Rick was cuffed on the spot. The couple who bought the house? Turns out they were scammed too. They gave statements and left without a fight. And I didn't blame them, they were victims, same as us. By sundown, I was back in my home. Ellie stood beside me as we watched the last of the for sale signs get yanked from the ground. The judge later ordered the HOA to pay restitution, legal fees, and damages. They were also stripped of all powers beyond their own subdivision. Rick got 6 years. Now there's a sign out front of the ranch. Permanent and bold. Private property. Not affiliated with any HOA. Violators prosecuted.